राम 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 सर्वेभ्यः हृत्पूर्वक नमस्काराः। स्वागतं सुप्रभातं। शिवानन्दलहर्याः आनन्दानुभवः इति कक्ष्यायां सर्वेषां स्वागतम्। Today is the 30th session of our session on Shivanandalahari, learning to chant along with the meaning. So let us try to complete 50 verses today. That will be half of this great work of 100 verses. So let us begin with Guru Vandanam and Dhyana Shlokas. Welcome to our panelists. Aditi, I can see if Charu and Shriya have joined. Yes, Shriya is here. Shriya, I will promote you to a panelist. Please accept. गुरुरेव गतिर्गुरुमेव भजे गुरुणैव सहास्मि नमो गुरवे न गुरोः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरोः मतिरस्ति गुरौ मम पाहि गुरो श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् सौन्दर्यलहरी कर्त्रे सर्वमङ्गलदायिने शङ्कराचार्यवर्याय यतिराजाय ते नमः शङ्कारूपेण मच्चित्तं पङ्कीकृतमभूद्यया किङ्करीयस्य सा माया शङ्कराचार्यमाश्रये प्रह्लादवरदो देवो यो नृसिंहः परो हरिः नृसिंहोपासकन्नित्यं तन्नृसिंहगुरुं भजे श्री सच्चिदानंद शिवाभिनव्य नृसिंह भारत्यभिधान्यतीन्द्रान् विद्यानिधीन् मन्त्रनिधीन् सदात्मनिष्ठान् भजे मानव शम्भुरूपान् सदात्मध्याननिरतं विषयेभ्यः पराङ्मुखम् नौमि शास्त्रेषु निष्णातं चन्द्रशेखर भारती विवेकिनं महाप्रज्ञं धैर्यौदार्यक्षमानिधिं सदाभिनवपूर्वन्तं विद्यातीर्थगुरुं भजे भारती करुणापात्रं भारतीपदभूषणं भारतीपदमारूढं भारतीतीर्थमाश्रये भारतीतीर्थपर्यन्तं भक्तहृत्तापनाशनं भवभीतिहरं देवं भावये सततं हृदि विद्याविनयसम्पन्नौ वीतरागौ विवेकिनं वन्दे वेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञौ विधुशेखर भारतीम् अनन्तगुणसम्पन्नामनन्ताभिधयाश्रुताम् अनन्तज्ञानदात्रीं तां मातरं प्रणुमो वयम् गैर्वाण्या संविबोधेन जीवनं मौल्यसंयुतम् या करोत्तान्नमाम्यम्बां शारदामूर्तरूपिणीम् कलाभ्यां चूडालङ्कृतशशिकलाभ्यां निजतपः फलाभ्यां भक्तेषु प्रकटितफलाभ्यां भवतु मे शिवाभ्यामस्तोकत्रिभुवन शिवाभ्यां हृदि पुनर्भवाभ्यामानन्दस्फुरदनुभवाभ्यान्नतिर्यम् So we learned 46 in the previous class, where the mind was addressed as Manasa Rajahamsa, O royal swan. and it was asked to dwell in the palace of Bhagavan Parameshwara's feet. Yeah. Shambhudhyana vasanta sangini.
Shambhudhyana vasanta sangini. Shambhudhyana vasanta sangini.
हृदारामेघजीर्णच्छदाः
हृदारामेघजीर्णच्छदाः हृदारामेघजीर्णच्छदाः
स्रस्ता भक्तिलताच्छटा विलसिताः
स्रस्ता भक्तिलताच्छटा विलसिताः स्रस्ता भक्तिलताच्छटा विलसिताः
पुण्यप्रवालश्रिताः
पुण्यप्रवालश्रिताः पुण्यप्रवालश्रिताः
दीप्यन्ते गुणकोरका
दीप्यन्ते गुणकोरका दीप्यन्ते गुणकोरका
जपवचः पुष्पाणि सद्वासनाः
जपवचः पुष्पाणि सद्वासनाः जपवचः पुष्पाणि सद्वासनाः
ज्ञानानन्दसुधामरन्दलहरी
ज्ञानानन्दसुधामरन्दलहरी ज्ञानानन्दसुधामरन्दलहरी
संवित्फलाभ्युन्नतिः
संवित्फलाभ्युन्नतिः संवित्फलाभ्युन्नतिः
उत्तमम् शम्भुध्यान note the dvitvam there shambhudhyana bhu and dha mahapranas vasanta sangini hrida ramegha jirnachadah gha and cha mahapranas here. This is called avagraha chinha purva rupa sandhi, but we do not split there. Hrida ramegha jirnachadah srasta note srasta again srasta dvitvam Bhakti lata chata note the mahapranas vilasitaha punya pravala shritaha note the dvitvams there punya pravala shritaha dvitvams, that is the doubling of the letters. They add a lot of beauty to chanting and also make it conform to the meter also along with the raga. Deepyante again dvitvam gunakoraka japavacha pushpani. So this is what we call upadhmaniya. In most of the text, you will have a visarga here. So when a visarga is followed by pa or a pa, we get a upadhmaniya. That is, the air is expelled from the mouth, from the lips, and the lips are closed immediately. That is the pronunciation. Japavacha pushpani. Sadvasana, dvitvam again, sadvasana. ज्ञानानंद सुधामरंद लहरी धा महाप्राण संवित फलाभ्युन्नति फ and bha mahapranas again संवित फलाभ्युन्नति note the dvitvam again here फलाभ्युन्नति. So we will chant one pada at a time. शम्भुध्यान वसंत संगिनी हृदारामेघजीर्ण छदाः
शम्भुध्यान वसंत संगिनी हृदारामेघजीर्णच्छदाः शम्भुध्यान वसंत संगिनी हृदारामेघजीर्णच्छदाः
स्रस्ता भक्तिलता छटा विलसिताः पुण्य प्रवालश्रिताः
स्रस्ता भक्ति भक्तिलताच्छटा विलसिताः पुण्यप्रवालश्रिताः स्रस्ता भक्तिलताच्छटा विलसिताः पुण्यप्रवालश्रिताः
दीप्यन्ते गुणकोरका जपवच पुष्पाणि सद्वासनाः
दीप्यन्ते गुणकोरका जपवचः पुष्पाणि सद्वासनाः दीप्यन्ते गुणकोरका जपवचः पुष्पाणि सद्वासनाः
ज्ञानानन्दसुधामरन्दलहरी संवित् फलाभ्युन्नतिः
ज्ञानानन्दसुधामरन्दलहरी संवित्फलाभ्युन्नतिः ज्ञानानन्दसुधामरन्दलहरी संवित्फलाभ्युन्नतिः
उत्तमं 2 lines at a time. शम्भुध्यानवसन्तसङ्गिनि हृदारा मेघजीर्णच्छदाः स्रस्ता भक्तिलताच्छटा विलसिताः पुण्यप्रवालश्रिताः
शम्भुध्यानवसन्तसङ्गिनि हृदारा मेघजीर्णच्छदाः स्रस्ता भक्तिलताच्छटा विलसिताः पुण्यप्रवालश्रिताः शम्भुध्यानवसन्तसङ्गिनि हृदारा मेघजीर्णच्छदाः स्रस्ता भक्तिलताच्छटा विलसिताः पुण्यप्रवालश्रिताः
दीप्यन्ते गुणकोरका जपवचः पुष्पाणि सद्वासनाः ज्ञानानन्दसुधामरन्दलहरी संवित् फलाभ्युन्नतिः
दीप्यन्ते गुणकोरका जपवचः पुष्पाणि सद्वासनाः ज्ञानानन्दसुधामरन्दलहरी संवित्फलाभ्युन्नतिः दीप्यन्ते गुणकोरका जपवचः पुष्पाणि सद्वासनाः ज्ञानानन्दसुधामरन्दलहरी संवित्फलाभ्युन्नतिः.
So in this verse, the heart, hridayam or hrida, is referred to as a garden, arama. So here there is a description of spring season. Now we all know that Vasanta or spring is the most beautiful, one of the most beautiful or the most beautiful of seasons. Now, even in Gita, in the 10th chapter, Krishna says that among the seasons, he is the spring season. Rituna kusumakaraha. Kusumakaraha, that is the season in which all the flowers bloom. So, Vasanta, there used to be Vasantotsavam and all that also. We have references to that in our literature. So Vasanta is a celebrated spring season full of happiness. So we know that during spring season, there are new shoots, buds and flowers blooming, and all the dried leaves fall off and you start seeing lush greenery everywhere. That brings a lot of happiness. Now, in this particular verse, there is a description of a kind of spring season. Now, what is that spring season? Now, let us see the Anvaya first and then we'll see. Shambhudhyana Vasanta Sangini Hridara Megha Jirnachadaha Srastaha Bhakti Latachata Vilasitaha Punya Pravala Shritaha Sadvasana Gunakoraka Japavacha Pushpani Dipyante Jnanananda Sudhamarandalahari Sambit Phalabhyunnatihi Deepyante. So what is that spring season? Shambhudhyana Vasanta Sangini. So Shambhudhyana itself is the Vasanta, is the spring season. So the spring season is nothing but Shambhudhyana, dhyana or meditating on Parameshwara. So in that spring season, Sangini means association. So when one is in association with that spring season called Shambhudhyana or the meditation on Parameshwara, where is that? In Hridarame, in the garden of one's heart. So one's heart is a garden, and there is an onset of beautiful spring season in that garden called the heart. And that spring season is nothing but Shambhudhyana Vasanta. That is the meditation on Parameshwara itself is the spring season which has arrived in this garden called the heart. Then what are all the things which happen when there is spring season? We will see here. Hridarame Agha Jirna Chadaha. Agha means Papa, sins, we all know, right? So the sins are the dried leaves. So when that spring season called Bhagavad Dhyana or Shambhudhyana arrives in the garden of one's heart, then Agha Jirna Chadaha Srastaha. All the sins in the form of dried leaves have fallen off, which means we are rid of our sins. So all those sins are dried leaves. Like the dried leaves fall off in spring season, we get new shoots, new buds, new flowers. Similarly, when the spring of Shambhudhyana arrives in the garden of our heart, all the dried leaves in the form of sins have fallen off. What else happens? Bhakti Lata Chata Vilasitaha. Lata means creeper, we all know. So what are the creepers? The creepers of bhakti, the creepers of devotion are spread everywhere. And Punya Pravala Shritaha, that is, the young shoots of Punya are sprouting. So there is the young shoots of Punya are spreading everywhere, are flourishing, deepyante. And also the creepers of bhakti are spreading everywhere, and the dried leaves of sins are falling away. Further, what is happening? Guna koraka japavacha pushpani sadvasana cha deepyante. Also, what else is flourishing? Guna korakaha. The buds of virtues are flourishing. So the buds, as we see new buds in the spring season, in this spring of the heart, when Shambhudhyana, the spring of Shambhudhyana arrives in the heart, the buds of virtues are flourishing. And which are the flowers? Kusumakara. The spring is Kusumakara. Everywhere you have flowers. So which are the flowers which are blooming everywhere? They are the Japa Vachaha. The mantra Japa or the Japa of Bhagavan Nama or mantras, that Japa, constantly repeating the name of Bhagavan or the mantras, that Japa, those flowers are blooming everywhere. Again in Gita 10th chapter, Bhagavan says, Yajnanam Japa Yajñosmi. Among the Yajñas, I am the Japa Yajna. There is so much of importance given to Japa, repeating Bhagavan's name. In attaining Bhagavan, there is so much of importance given to that. So Japa Vacha Pushpani. So the flowers which are blooming in this Shambhudhyana spring season are nothing but Japa, constant repetition of mantra, constant repetition of Bhagavan's name. Then Sadvasana. Sadvasana, very important word. Sadvasana, we all know, vasana, fragrance, sadvasana. There is beautiful fragrance spreading everywhere. So in spring, we all know when there is when you have the blooming of flowers, the fragrance of flowers is spreading in the gardens and where you have these flowers. So that is one meaning of Sadvasana with reference to spring season. Now, another very important meaning of Sadvasana is the Vasana refers to latent impressions which we carry with us through our janmas, through our births, by virtue of our merits and sins, that punya phala, we carry these vasanas with us, latent impressions. Now, sadvasana means good impressions or the good samskaras that are latent in a jivatma by virtue of all this, by virtue of japa, by virtue of the sins withering away, by virtue of the good virtues and punya, accumulation of punya, then we accumulate sadvasanas. That is, the noble impressions or sad samskaras are latent, which lead us in the path of Atmajnana or Shivanandam. That is very important to have sadvasana. So, where again on vasanas, you can read up. There is so much about vasanas in our spiritual literature. So, this really, it amazes me how in each word Shankaracharya has it's given us sadvasana. You can take it as fragrance with reference to the spring season, and as accumulation of these sadvasanas, the latent, noble latent impressions which a jivatma acquires. And these sadvasanas lead us ultimately to that path of Shivanandam. So every word, if you want to decipher, there is so much of tattva in it. Like I said, multiple layers of meaning. Further, then what else do we find in spring season? Of course, fragrance, flowers, buds, shoots, creepers, which all have been referred to by Shankaracharya here. Also, when there are flowers blooming, there is a lot of honey, nectar in the flowers, right? So, what is that honey or nectar? Jnanananda Sudha Maranda Lahari. Jnana and Ananda. That is Jnanam, that Atmajnanam, Shivajnanam, Shivanandam, Brahmanandam, that ultimate knowledge of Parabrahma Jnana, and Ananda, that is the ultimate bliss, that eternal bliss. These two are inseparable. Once you have Jnana, automatically in that state of Atmajnana, it is that supreme Ananda is there, and we are Ananda Swarupins. So we are in this path to realize that. Therefore, we have that verse, right? Jnananandamayam devam nirmala sphatikakritim adharam sarva vidyanam hayagrivam upasmahe. There, it is for Hayagriva. Jnanananda Sudha, that nectar, Amritam, is nothing but Jnanananda, Jnana and Ananda, or Brahmananda. Jnanananda also refers to as Brahmanandam, Shivanandam, Sachidanandam. So that particular Ananda which arises out of attaining that Brahmajnanam, Atmajnana, Jnanananda Sudha, that nectar, Maranda is honey, Lahari is continuous flow. So this particular stotram is Shivanandalahari. So aptly he has used again here Jnanananda Sudha Maranda Lahari. This is a synonym for Shivanandalahari. And there for Bhagavati, he says Saundarya Lahari in Saundarya Lahari Stotram. So, Jnanananda Sudhamaranda Lahari, like we discussed, I think in the second or not second, probably third verse or fourth verse. In the first 5 verses itself of Shivananda Lahari, we discussed how there Shankaracharya has described this Anandam, Shivanandam or Jnananandam is coming as continuous waves of bliss. It is not fleeting. You eat a mango, you feel happy, it is fleeting, it is transient, and you eat too much, it affects you also. That Shivanandam is not like that. It is constantly coming as flow, as waves of bliss, which are experienced by a yogi in that particular state. Therefore, very aptly called here Jnanananda Sudhamaranda Lahari. That Jnanananda nectar is flowing, constantly flowing, coming as waves, constant waves of happiness. And also, Sambit Phala Bhyunnatihi. So, Sambit Phalam here refers to fruits. Again, we saw flowers, we saw nectar, we saw buds, we saw creepers, we saw shoots. So now what are the fruits in this particular garden when Shambhudhyana as the spring arrives? The fruits are nothing but Samvit Phalani. That is, that Brahmajnanam itself is the fruit. And how is it? Abhyunnatihi, in plenty. There is an abundance of this fruit called Brahmajnanam, where in this Hridarame, in this garden called the heart, when Shambhudhyana Vasanta Sangini, when the spring season called Shambhudhyana arrives, then we have all these beautiful descriptions of spring season in the heart of the devotee. Now, also again, very spiritually significant, because it is said that it is rather, there's an analogy that when a Vasanta Kala has arrived in a person's life, when is it a spring season in a Jivatma's life? Is when we start meditating on Bhagavan, this Shambhu Dhyana, what Shankaracharya is telling us here. And when that Jivatma starts yearning for Paramatma, for union with Paramatma, and undertakes dhyana, kirtana, and thinks of Bhagavan, has that urge to attain Atma Dhyana, that is considered to be the spring season in the life of a Jivatma. So therefore, this very apt analogy of referring to Shambhudhyana as the spring and Hridaya as the heart, as the garden where that spring season has arrived, again reminded me of the third Ashtapadi of Jayadeva, where there is a beautiful description of Brindavan and spring season in Brindavan particularly. Vasante Vasanti. If you can go through, you go through the Ashtapadi. Even listening to the words is so beautiful. And if you can understand the meaning even better. So Vasante Vasanti Kusuma Sukumaraihi Avayavaihi, he describes Jayadeva, where Sakhi, the guru, is describing the spring season in Brindavan to Radha and telling her, beautifully pointing out Lalita Lavanga Lata Parishilana Komala Malaya Samire. Lot of similarities are there where the creepers are described, the beautiful fragrance of flowers is described, the shoots are described, the flowers are described, and the Sakhi in the form of a guru is showing Jivatma Radha that, see, this spring season has arrived in Vrindavana. And the significance of that, it is said, is like in a Jivatma's life, the spring season is when that spiritual awakening happens. So that is the significance of spring season with reference to a person in pursuit of this spirituality or Brahmanandam. So in that way, a very beautiful verse. We will go through the meaning once again. Each word, we can speak volumes about it, but at least let us know the word to word meaning, and then further we can undertake our study. The heart is a garden associated with the spring season of meditation on Shambhu, Shiva. Within this garden, the dried leaves of sins have fallen away. The creepers of devotion have spread beautifully, adorned with the sprouting nodules of punya and buds of virtues. The flowers of mantra chanting bloom, or the flowers of japa bloom, filling the atmosphere with the pleasant fragrance of noble impressions, that is sadvasana. Amidst this garden flows the nectarine honey of jnanananda, that is the bliss of knowledge, and the fruits of realization, samvit, that is brahmajnanam, ripen in abundance, creating a divine and fulfilling experience. So the entire verse. Shambhudhyana vasanta sangini hridara meghajirnachadaha srasta bhakti lata chata vilasitaha punya pravala shritaha दीप्यन्ते गुणकोरका जपवच पुष्पाणि सद्वासनाः ज्ञानानन्दसुधामरन्दलहरी संवित्फलाभ्युन्नतिः.
शम्भुध्यानवसन्तसङ्गिनि हृदारा मेघजीर्णच्छदाः स्रस्ता भक्तिलताच्छटा विलसिताः पुण्यप्रवालश्रिताः दीप्यन्ते गुणकोरका जपवचः पुष्पाणि सद्वासनाः ज्ञानानन्दसुधामरन्दलहरी संवित्फलाभ्युन्नतिः.
Uttamam. Next verse. Aditi. नित्यानन्दरसालयम्
नित्यानन्दरसालयम् नित्यानन्दरसालयम्
सुरमुनिस्वान्ताम्बुजाताश्रयम्
सुरमुनिस्वान्ताम्बुजाताश्रयम् सुरमुनिस्वान्ताम्बुजाताश्रयम्
स्वच्छं सद्विजसेवितं कलुषहृत्
स्वच्छं सद्विजसेवितं कलुषहृत् स्वच्छं सद्विजसेवितं कलुषहृत्
सद्वासनाविष्कृतम्
सद्वासनाविष्कृतं सद्वासनाविष्कृतम्
शम्भुध्यानसरोवरं व्रज
शम्भुध्यानसरोवरं व्रज शम्भुध्यानसरोवरं व्रज
मनोहंसावतं सस्थिरम्
मनोहंसावतं सस्थिरम् मनोहंसावतं सस्थिरम्
किं क्षुद्राश्रयपल्वलभ्रमण
किं क्षुद्राश्रयपल्वलभ्रमण किं क्षुद्राश्रयपल्वलभ्रमण
सञ्जातश्रमं प्राप्स्यसि
सञ्जातश्रमं प्राप्स्यसि सञ्जातश्रमं प्राप्स्यसि.
Okay, so the last line we are not supposed to split. I just split as it might be easier for you all the first time when you are listening to the verse. So, Nityananda Rasalayam Suramuniswantambujatashrayam. Here, Suramuniswanta, S is doubling Dvitvam. Suramuniswatambujatashrayam. There also, Sh, Dvitvam. Swachham Mahaprana. Sadvija Sevitam. Sevitam Kalushahrit. Combining it becomes Sevitam Kalushahrit. Sadvija Sevitam Kalushahrit. Sadvasana Vishkritam. Sh, note the pronunciation of Sh. Sadvasana Vishkritam. Here also Sadvasana, Dvitvam. Shambhudhyana. Bhu and Dhar Mahapranas, Dvitvam again. Shambhudhyana Sarovaram Vraja. Note the pronunciation Sarovaram Vraja. When you combine Manohamsavatam Sasthiram, Dvitvam here. Manohamsavatam Sasthiram. S is doubling. Sthiram. Mahapranatha. Kim Kshudrashraya. Kim and Kshu combining. Kim Kshudrashraya Palvala Brahmana. Palvala Brahmana again. Dvitvam there. Palvala Brahmana Sanjatashramam. Sanjatashramam. Sh is doubling. Dvitvam again. Prapsyasi. Note the words, letters clearly. Prapsyasi. C is a hrasva. We'll do one pada at a time. Nityanandarasalayam Suri. Nityanandarasalayam Suramuniswantambujatashrayam.
नित्यानन्दसुरालयं
Nityanandarasalayam.
नित्यानन्दरसालयं सुरमुनिस्वान्ताम्बुजाताश्रयम् नित्यानन्दरसालयं सुरमुनिस्वान्ताम्बुजाताश्रयम्
स्वच्छं सद्विजसेवितं कलुषहृत् सद्वासना विष्कृतम्
स्वच्छं सद्विजसेवितं कलुषहृत् सद्वासनाविष्कृतम् स्वच्छं सद्विजसेवितं कलुषहृत् सद्वासनाविष्कृतम्
शम्भुध्यान सरोवरं व्रजमनोहं सावतं सस्थिरम्
शम्भुध्यानसरोवरं व्रजमनोहं सावतं सस्थिरम् शम्भुध्यानसरोवरं व्रजमनोहं सावतं स्थिरम्
किं क्षुद्राश्रयपल्बलभ्रमणसञ्जातश्रमं प्राप्स्यसि
किं क्षुद्राश्रयपल्वलभ्रमणसञ्जातश्रमं प्राप्स्यसि किं क्षुद्राश्रयपल्वलभ्रमणसञ्जातश्रमं प्राप्स्यसि.
The third and fourth line we can't split. Third line vraja, after that if you want you can take a breath, but at yati sthana we can't split because we have samasta padams there. Now we will do half a verse at a time. Nityanandarasalayam suramuniswantambujatashrayam स्वच्छं सद्विजसेवितं कलुषहृत् सद्वासनाविष्कृतम्
नित्यानन्दरसालयं सुरमुनिस्वान्ताम्बुजाताश्रयं स्वच्छं सद्विजसेवितं कलुषहृत् सद्वासनाविष्कृतम् नित्यानन्दरसालयं सुरमुनिस्वान्ताम्बुजाताश्रयं स्वच्छं सद्विजसेवितं कलुषहृत् सद्वासनाविष्कृतम्
शम्भुध्यान सरोवरं व्रजमनोहं सावतं सस्थिरम् किं क्षुद्राश्रयपल्वलभ्रमणसञ्जातश्रमं प्राप्स्यसि
शम्भुध्यानसरोवरं व्रजमनोहं सावतं सस्थिरम् किं क्षुद्राश्रयपल्वलभ्रमणसञ्जातश्रमं प्राप्स्यसि शम्भुध्यानसरोवरं व्रजमनोहं सावतं सस्थिरम् किं क्षुद्राश्रयपल्वलभ्रमणसञ्जातश्रमं प्राप्स्यसि.
Now the entire verse. Nityanandarasalayam suramuniswantambujatashrayam स्वच्छं सद्विजसेवितं कलुषहृत् सद्वासनाविष्कृतम् शम्भुध्यान सरोवरं व्रजमनोहं सावतं सस्थिरम् किं क्षुद्राश्रयपल्वलभ्रमणसञ्जातश्रमं प्राप्स्यसि
नित्यानन्दरसालयं सुरमुनिस्वान्ताम्बुजाताश्रयं स्वच्छं सद्विजसेवितं कलुषहृत् सद्वासनाविष्कृतम् शम्भुध्यानसरोवरं व्रजमनोहं सावतं सस्थिरम् किञ्चुद्राश्रयपल्वलभ्रमणसञ्जातश्रमं प्राप्स्यसि.
Uttamam. So, in this verse, again, Shambhudhyana is referred to, but it is referred to as Shambhudhyana Sarovaram. So, the Sarovara or the pond itself is Shambhudhyana. The Shambhudhyana is the pond. The meditation on Parameshwara itself is the pond. So, what does our Acharya tell us here? Manohamsavatamsa, O great swan called mind. In another previous verse, he said Manasa Rajahamsa. And here he's saying Manohamsavatamsa, O great swan called mind. Shambhudhyana Sarovaram Vraja. Go towards or reach or move towards or reach the Sarovara, the pond called Shambhudhyana. So again, beautiful description. So a lot of literary beauty like we are seeing in each verse. So let us see the Anvaya. Manohamsavatamsa Nityananda Rasalayam Suramuni Swantambu Jatashrayam Swacham Sadvija Sevitam Kalushahrit Sadvasana Vishkritam Shambhudhyana Sarovaram Braja Sthiram Kshudrashraya Palvala Brahmana Sanjata Shramam Kim Prapsyasi. So here, addressing the mind as Manohamsavatamsa, O great swan of mind. Avatamsa means Shrestha, great or greatest. Shambhudhyana Sarovaram Praja, reach the pond of meditation of Parameshwara. Now, this word Sarovara has a lot of meaning. Now, this pond, how is it? It is Nityananda Rasalayam. All the words in the first two lines are descriptions of Shambhudhyana Sarovara. How is that Shambhudhyana Sarovara, the pond called meditation on Parameshwara? It is Nityananda Rasalayam. It is the source or abode of Nityananda, eternal bliss, eternal, which does not reduce. Now, all the happiness, momentary pleasures, transient pleasures, which we may get from the worldly things are all transient, fleeting. But this rasa, essence, in this pond called Shambhudhyana, it is Nityananda Rasalayam. It is a source of eternal bliss. Now, Bhagavan is Rasaswarupi. The Upanishads say, Raso Vai Saha. Bhagavan is understood as Rasaswarupi. So, that is the significance of this Nityananda Rasalayam. In Ashtapadi, also 22nd Ashtapadi, which is the Kalyana Ashtapadi of Jayadeva, he describes Krishna as Harim Eka Rasam. Again, there that reference to the Upanishads that Bhagavan is Rasaswarupi, Rasovai Saha, Nityananda Rasalayam. Further, how is this pond? Suramuni Swantambu Jatashrayam. It is the abode of the lotus hearts of Devatas and sages. Sura Muni. Sura is Devatas and Muni are sages, the realized souls. So Swanta is hearts, Ambuja is lotuses, Ashrayam is abode. So it is the abode of the lotus hearts of Sura Devas and Munis, the realized souls or sages. Swachham. It is absolutely pure. This blemishless, this particular pond called Shambhudhyana. Sadvija Sevitam. Now, this is again a very beautiful word, a play on words like we are seeing in each verse. Sadvija. Now, Dvija refers to twice born. I think we learnt about this in a previous session also. Twice born. So, the bird is referred to as twice born in Sanskrit because first the egg is laid and then the bird comes out of the egg. So that is considered as twice born, Dvija. Similarly, Dvija is also a word used to refer to scholars and realized souls. How? So once they attain the samskara. So before the samskara is one birth. So once they have the samskara for Vedadhyanam and to proceed towards that Brahmajnana, Atmajnana, after the samskara, that is referred to as the second birth. Therefore, they are also referred to as dvijas, the scholars, or the ones who are pursuing Brahman after the samskara, and those who undertake that study of Vedas. So, Sadvija Sevitam means which is worshipped or served by excellent birds, Sadvija. So we also hear that, in the very great lakes, we have these beautiful swans. So it is referred to in many of our scriptures, etc. So Sadvija is a very good, excellent birds. Sevitam, they serve the pond. Or it also means served by realized souls or scholars. Sadvija Sevitam. Also, how is this pond? Kalusha Hrit, destroys sins. Sadvasana Vishkritam. It is manifesting good vasanas. Again, note the meaning of vasana here. It can also mean a pond which is very fragrant when you just refer to it as a pond of water. However, it also refers to those latent noble impressions. Sadvasana Vishkritam. Vasana. Shankaracharya is using this word many times in these few verses which we are seeing. So the latent noble or pure or good impressions. Sadvasana Vishkritam. Sthiram. It is very firm. Now, the mind which is fixed on Parameshwara will not be wavering. It will not have, fear, anxiety, etc. So it is sthiram, firm. Also, this word also means, hey, mano hamsavatamsa, sthiram shambhudhyana sarovaram praja. You firmly move towards or you reach that place called Shambhudhyana, that pond called Shambhudhyana. Last line he says, Kshudrashraya palvala brahmana sanjata shramam kim prapsyasi. When you have such a beautiful pond called Shambhudhyana, then why are you tiring yourself, exhausting yourself? Sanjata shramam. Shramam is exhaustion. Why are you reaching or why are you exhausting yourself by Shudrashraya Palvala Brahmana, by roaming around in vain, by worshipping Shudra Devatas? Or another interpretation which scholars give is anything which does not lead towards Atmajnana, Anatma, basically. Anything which does not lead towards Shivanandam is Shudra. So, in pursuit of things which are futile, why are you wasting your efforts and why are you exhausting yourself? Not just wasting. Sanjata Brahmana is roaming around. You're roaming around in these Kshudra, seeking Kshudra phalas or Kshudra devatas, and you're unnecessarily exhausting yourself. Kim prapsyasi? Why do you want to exhaust yourself in vain in that way? So, Mano Hamsavatamsa, oh great swan called mine, Shambhudhyana Sarovaram Sthiram Braja. You move towards the pond called Shambhudhyana. In Gita also Bhagavan says, Mayyeva mana adhatsva, Mayi buddhim niveshaya, nivasishyasi Mayyeva, ata urdhvam na samshayaha. Mayyeva mana adhatsva. Oh Arjuna, you place your mind in me itself. You don't let the mind not wander here and there. Okay, so quickly we will read the meaning. Oh, the great swan of my mind, go to the serene pond of contemplation on Shambhu, the eternal reservoir of bliss. This sacred pond is pure and clean, adorned with the lotus-like hearts of sages and devatas, gods. It is worshipped by noble souls, destroys sins, and reveals the noble impressions, sadvasana of virtuous living. Why wander to the shallow, insignificant puddles, worship other deities, and exhaust yourself in vain? What lasting benefit will you gain from such efforts? Instead, immerse yourself in the divine and eternal bliss of Shambhu's presence. We must also remember that Acharya Shankara, when he was here in composing these stotras, the people were largely misled in the name of religion towards blind rituals and worshipping for some, gains and not to attain jnana or brahmanandam or shivanandam. So he cleansed the society from all these blind rites and rituals, and he brought back focus on that, on Bhagavan, on Upanishads, the jnana aspect, and led humankind towards that brahmanandam and nityanandam, which is nothing but knowledge of the self-realization. Okay, so we will read the verse, chant the verse once. Nityanandarasalayam suramuniswantam swachham sadvijasebitam kalushahrit sadvasana vishkritam शम्भुध्यान सरोवरौ व्रजमनोहं सावतं सस्थिरम् किं क्षुद्राश्रय पल्बलभ्रमण सञ्जातश्रमं प्राप्स्यसि. Okay, here it should be sadvasana. I will correct it in this particular slide. Now, Shriya. Anandamrita purita.
आनन्दामृतपूरिता आनन्दामृतपूरिता
हरपदाम्भोजालवालोद्यता
हरपदा भोजालवालोद्यता
Bhojala. Once again.
हरपदाम्भोजालवालोद्यता हरपदाम्भोजालवालोद्यता
धैर्योपघ्नमुपेत्य भक्तिलतिका
स्थैर्योपघ्नमुपैत्य भक्तिलतिका स्थैर्योपघ्निमुपैत्य भक्तिलतिका
धैर्योपघ्न स्थैर्योपघ्नमुपेत्य भक्तिलतिका
स्थैर्योपघ्नमुपैत्य भक्तिलतिका
उपेत्य, not upaitya. स्थैर्योपघ्नमुपेत्य. Upetya. Once again.
स्थैर्योपघ्नमुपेत्य भक्तिलतिका स्थैर्योपघ्नमुपैत्य भक्तिलतिका.
Yeah, be careful. It is upetya, not upaitya. Shakhopashakhanvita.
शाखोपशाखान्विता शाखोपशाखान्विता
उच्चैर्मानसकायमानपटली
उच्चैर्मानसकायमानपटलीम् उच्चैर्मानसकायमानपटलीम्
आक्रम्य निष्कल्मषा
आक्रम्य निष्कल्मषा आक्रम्य निष्कल्मषा
नित्याभीष्टफलप्रदा भवतु मे
नित्याभीष्टफलप्रदा भवतु मे नित्याभीष्टफलप्रदा भवतु मे
सत्कर्म संवर्धिता
सत्कर्म संवर्धिता सत्कर्म संवर्धिता
आनन्दामृतपूरिता हरपदाम्भोजालवालोद्यता Bho Mahaprana Sthairyopaghnamupettya. Please note that word carefully. Sthairyopaghnamupettya. Stha and Bha here Mahapranas. Bhakti Latika Bha Mahaprana. Shakhopa Shakhanvita. Note the Mahapranas here. Uchchairmanasa kayamana patalim akramya. Note the Dvitvam there. Nishkalmasha. Nityabhishta phala prada. Bhi and Pha Mahapranas. Phala prada. Dvitvam. Note the doubling there. Bhavatu me satkarma samvardhita. Dhi is Mahaprana. आनन्दामृतपूरिता हरपदां भोजालबालोद्यता
आनन्दामृतपूरिता हरपदाम्भोजालबालोद्यता आनन्दामृतपूरिता हरपदाम्भोजालबालोद्यता
धैर्योपघ्नमुपेत्य भक्तिलतिका शाखोपशाखान्विता
स्थैर्योपघ्नमुपेत्य भक्तिलतिका शाखोपशाखान्विता स्थैर्योपघ्नमुपेत्य भक्तिलतिका शाखोपशाखान्विता
उच्चैर्मानसकायमानपटलीम् आक्रम्य निष्कल्मषा
उच्चैर्मानसकायमानपटलीम् आक्रम्य निष्कल्मषा उच्चैर्मानसकायमानपटलीम् आक्रम्य निष्कल्मषा
नित्याभीष्टफलप्रदा भवतु मे सत्कर्म संवर्धिता
नित्याभीष्टफलप्रदा भवतु मे सत्कर्म संवर्धिता नित्याभीष्टफलप्रदा भवतु मे सत्कर्म संवर्धिता
आनन्दामृतपूरिता हरपदाम्भोजालबालोद्यता स्थैर्योपघ्नमुपेत्य भक्तिलतिका शाखोपशाखान्विता
आनन्दामृतपूरिता हरपदाम्भोजालबालोद्यता स्थैर्योपघ्नमुपेत्य भक्तिलतिका शाखोपशाखान्विता आनन्दामृतपूरिता हरपदाम्भोजालबालोद्यता स्थैर्योपघ्नमुपेत्य भक्तिलतिका शाखोपशाखान्विता
उच्चैर्मानसकायमानपटलीम् आक्रम्य निष्कल्मषा नित्याभीष्टफलप्रदा भवतु मे सत्कर्म संवर्धिता
उच्चैर्मानसकायमानपटलीम् आक्रम्य निष्कल्मषा नित्याभीष्टफलप्रदा भवतु मे सत्कर्म संवर्धिता उच्चैर्मानसकायमानपटलीम् आक्रम्य निष्कल्मषा नित्याभीष्टफलप्रदा भवतु मे सत्कर्म संवर्धिता
Uttamam. Now the entire verse. आनन्दामृतपूरिता हरपदाम्भोजालबालोद्यता स्थैर्योपघ्नमुपेत्य भक्तिलतिका शाखोपशाखान्विता उच्चैर्मानसकायमानपटलीम् आक्रम्य निष्कल्मषा नित्याभीष्टफलप्रदा भवतु मे सत्कर्म संवर्धिता
आनन्दामृतपूरिता हरपदाम्भोजालवालोद्यता स्थैर्योपघ्नमुपेत्य भक्तिलतिका शाखोपशाखान्विता उच्चैर्मानसकायमानपटलीम् आक्रम्य निष्कल्मषा नित्याभीष्टफलप्रदा भवतु मे सत्कर्म संवर्धिता.
Uttamam. In this verse, Bhakti Latika, that is the devotion of creeper or the creeper of devotion. The devotion itself is a creeper. Bhakti Latika or Bhakti Lata, in other words, Bhakti Latika. Nityabhishta phalaprada bhavatu me. May it bestow on me everlasting, eternal phala, fruits. So this is the prayer in this verse. Bhakti, the devotion is compared to a creeper, Bhakti Lata, which itself is Kalpalata, that is the wish-granting creeper. Nityabhishta phalaprada me bhavatu. May that Bhakti Latika be the bestow. May that Bhakti Latika be the bestower of everlasting fruits. Nityabhishta phalaprada me bhavatu, for me. Now the other words are adjectives, description of this particular Bhakti Latika, devotion called creeper. Anandamrita purita harapadambhojala valodyata स्थैर्योपघ्नम् उपेत्य शाखोपशाखान्विता उच्चैर्मानसकायमानपटलीम् आक्रम्य निष्कल्मषा सत्कर्म संवर्धिता भक्तिलतिका मे नित्याभीष्टफलप्रदा भवतु. How is this Bhaktilatika? It is Anandamrita Purita. In this verse also, each word we can take it as describing a creeper and also as describing this devotion to Parameshwara. So Anandamrita Purita, this creeper called Bhakti is filled with Ananda, Amritam. How is that Anandam? It is bliss, it is nectar, blissful. So what is that? That is nothing but Shivanandam. This creeper is filled with Shivanandam. Another meaning, Ananda Amrita. Now the word Amritam also means water in Sanskritam. So when a creeper is well watered, you see when the plants are well watered adequately, you have that lush green leaves. The plants look very happy. So Ananda Amrita Purita, such a creeper. Harapadam Bhojala Valodyata. Now, Alavala refers to, so whenever you have a plant, a creeper or a sapling, you see that a small bulge or a basin of water is made below where it is watered to hold the water. So that is called Alavala. Now, Shiva's feet itself are that Alavala for that creeper. Hara Shiva, Ambhoja refers to lotus feet. Alavalodhyata. Alavala means that water holding basin or the pathway to hold the water. They are nothing but Shiva's feet. Udhyata, arising. So that creeper of bhakti is arising out of that pathway to hold water or near the roots, which are nothing but the feet of Parameshwara. Further, sthairya upaghnam upetya. Sthairya means very firm and which is not shaking. Now we know a creeper needs support, right? It takes the support of a tree, or sometimes we keep, when we have creepers or when we grow creepers in a garden, we keep that stick, firm stick as a support around which the creeper can curl and grow up. That is thairyam, that is firm fortitude. Upaghanam, that stick, upetya, having taking the support of that stick. So here, when you're referring to a creeper, you're referring to that stick which it curls around or takes support and grows. Whereas with reference to Parameshwara, the devotion itself is the stick. The supporting stick is the devotion. Further, how is it? Shakhopashakhanvita. It is endowed with creepers which spread by winding around branches and sub-branches. So if you see a beautiful creeper which is growing very well, maybe like a money plant, or many other creepers, which or a jasmine creeper or any creeper which grows, then you see that when they are growing well, they go on curling around branches and sub-branches of trees and whichever support you give it. So this creeper is spreading itself everywhere. Shakha, upashakha, branch and sub-branch. It is winding itself. So it is growing so well, spreading itself everywhere. Further, Uchair manasa kayamana patalim. Uchaihi on top. So some creepers, when you see, they also provide this roof-like support on top and they curl around that and grow. So Uchair manasa kayamana patalim. So here, the mind itself is referred to as that rooftop. So the virtuous mind, which is the thatched rooftop for the creeper. Akramya, having occupying that. So in terms of the creeper, when you visualize, it is that particular. So sometimes even that, it is built in an arch shape on top of the creeper where it goes and it starts curling around and growing that way. And it can also be that, that thatched roof on the creeper where it goes and curls itself. So whereas for the bhakti and for the mind, it means bhakti, this is bhakti is spreading in this mind, which is nothing but the thatched rooftop. Uchair manasa kayamana patalim akramya, having occupied, which means the entire mind is filled with bhakti. And nishkalmasha, it is free from defects, blemishless. Also, how is it? Satkarma samvardhita. It is nourished by satkarma. Only when we have satkarma or punya can we experience bhakti and Shivanandam. Chitta Shuddhi is very important. What we call mental gardening is very important to nourish the mind with japa, good deeds, and only having with dhyana, shambhu dhyana, only then bhakti will grow and this bhakti will come and spread itself, will engulf the mind. Satkarma samvardhita, it is nourished by virtuous deeds. In terms of if you look at just the creeper, it means the creeper which has grown by virtue of lot of care and giving it fertilization and the necessary light, air, etc. So the creeper has grown with virtuous deeds of satkarmas. Nityabhishta phalaprada. May such a creeper of bhakti latika, the devotion, the creeper of devotion, Nityabhishta phalaprada bhavatu. May it bestow on me everlasting benefits desired. Okay, we will chant this verse once. If possible, I wish to complete 50 also today. I will just take a few minutes. So I will chant this verse, then we will move to 50. आनन्दामृतपूरिता हरपदाम्भोजालबालोद्यता स्थैर्योपघ्नमुपेत्य भक्तिलतिका शाखोपशाखान्विता उच्चैर्मानसकायमानपटलीम् आक्रम्य निष्कल्मषा नित्याभीष्टफलप्रदा भवतु मे सत्कर्म संवर्धिता. अदिति सन्ध्यारम्भ विजृम्भितम्
सन्ध्यारम्भ विजृम्भितम् सन्ध्यारम्भ विजृम्भितम्
श्रुतिशिरस्थानान्तराधिष्ठितम्
श्रुतिशिरस्थानान्तराधिष्ठितम् श्रुतिशिरस्थानान्तराधिष्ठितम्
सप्रेम भ्रमराभिराममसकृत्
सप्रेम भ्रमराभिराममसकृत् सप्रेम भ्रमराभिराममसकृत्
सद्वासनाशोभितम्
सद्वासनाशोभितं सद्वासनाशोभितं
भोगीन्द्राभरणम्
भोगीन्द्राभरणं भोगीन्द्राभरणं
समस्तसुमनः पूज्यं गुणाविष्कृतम्
समस्तसुमनः पूज्यं गुणाविष्कृतं समस्तसुमनः पूज्यं गुणाविष्कृतम्
सेवे श्रीगिरिमल्लिकार्जुनमहालिङ्गम्
सेवे श्रीगिरिमल्लिकार्जुनमहालिङ्गम् सेवे श्रीगिरिमल्लिकार्जुनमहालिङ्गम्
शिवालिङ्गितम्
शिवालिङ्गितं शिवालिङ्गितम्
a very important verse. Urge all of you to please bear a few minutes today. It is describing Sri Mallikarjuna Mahalingam of Sri Shailam, where Shankaracharya has composed Shivanandalahari. So right in the middle of Shivanandalahari, 50th verse, he is directly referring to Sri Mallikarjuna Mahalingam. In Sri Shailam, there is Mallikarjuna, Parameshwara in the form of Mallikarjuna Mahalingam along with Brahmaramba. So we see that both Brahmarambika and Mallikarjuna Mahalingam have been sung in this particular verse. Sandhyarambha vijrimbhitam shruti shirasthanantaradhishthhitam
सन्ध्यारम्भविजृम्भितं श्रुतिशिरस्थानान्तराधिष्ठितम् सन्ध्यारम्भविजृम्भितं श्रुतिशिरस्थानान्तराधिष्ठितम्
प्रेम भ्रमराभिराममसकृत् सद्वासनाशोभितम्
सप्रेम भ्रमराभिराममसकृत् सद्वासनाशोभितम् सप्रेम भ्रमराभिराममसकृत् सद्वासनाशोभितम्
भोगीन्द्राभरणं समस्तसुमनः पूज्यं गुणाविष्कृतम्
भोगीन्द्राभरणं समस्तसुमनः पूज्यं गुणाविष्कृतम् भोगीन्द्राभरणं समस्तसुमनः पूज्यं गुणाविष्कृतम्
सेवे श्रीगिरिमल्लिकार्जुनमहालिङ्गं शिवालिङ्गितम्
सेवे श्रीगिरिमल्लिकार्जुनमहालिङ्गं शिवालिङ्गितम् सेवे श्रीगिरिमल्लिकार्जुनमहालिङ्गं शिवालिङ्गितम्
Sandhyarambha vijrimbhitam. Note the Mahapranas they have been highlighted for your reference. Shruti shirasthanantaradhishthhitam saprema bhramarabhiramamasakrut. Note the Dvittvams. Saprema, P is doubling. Saprema bhramara, B is again doubling there. Sadvasana, again Dvitvam, here D is doubling. Sadvasana shobhitam. Bhogindra-bharanam samasta sumana pujyam. Upadmaniya, visarga followed by pa. Samasta sumana pujyam. Pujyam guna-vishkritam. Combining, it becomes pujyam guna-vishkritam. Seve. Shri Giri. Here it refers to Shri Shaila. Shri Shaila, Shri Giri, Shri Parvata, all are synonyms of Shri Shaila Mahakshetra, that Punya Kshetra. Shri Giri Mallikarjuna Mahalingam Shivalingitam. Now we'll do 2 lines at a time. सन्ध्यारम्भविजृम्भितं श्रुतिशिरस्थानान्तराधिष्ठितं सप्रेम भ्रमराभिराममसकृत् सद्वासनाशोभितम्
सन्ध्यारम्भविजृम्भितं श्रुतिशिरस्थानान्तराधिष्ठितं सप्रेम भ्रमराभिराममसकृत्सद्वासनाशोभितम् सन्ध्यारम्भविजृम्भितं श्रुतिशिरस्थानान्तराधिष्ठितं सप्रेम भ्रमराभिराममसकृत्सद्वासनाशोभितम्
भोगीन्द्राभरणं समस्तसुमनः पूज्यं गुणाविष्कृतम् सेवे श्रीगिरिमल्लिकार्जुन महालिङ्गं शिवालिङ्गितम्
भोगीन्द्राभरणं समस्तसुमनः पूज्यं गुणाविष्कृतं सेवे श्रीगिरिमल्लिकार्जुनमहालिङ्गं शिवलिङ्गितम् भोगीन्द्राभरणं समस्तसुमनः पूज्यं गुणाविष्कृतं सेवे श्रीगिरिमल्लिकार्जुनमहालिङ्गं शिवलिङ्गितम्.
Now we'll do the entire verse. सन्ध्यारम्भविजृम्भितं श्रुतिशिरस्थानान्तराधिष्ठितं सप्रेम भ्रमराभिराममसकृत् सद्वासनाशोभितम् भोगीन्द्राभरणं समस्तसुमनः पूज्यं गुणाविष्कृतम् सेवे श्रीगिरिमल्लिकार्जुन महालिङ्गं शिवालिङ्गितम्
सन्ध्यारम्भविजृम्भितं श्रुतिशिरस्थानान्तराधिष्ठितं सप्रेम भ्रमराभिराममसकृत्सद्वासनाशोभितम् भोगीन्द्राभरणं समस्तसुमनः पूज्यं गुणाविष्कृतं सेवे श्रीगिरिमल्लिकार्जुनमहालिङ्गं शिवलिङ्गितम्.
Tamam. So here, Shri Mallikarjuna, like I said, the Shri Kshetram, Shri Shailam Kshetram is described in this verse. There are lots of episodes from the Puranas which are interwoven into this verse with, the kind of words which our Acharya Shankara has used. Now, Shri Shailam is considered to be very auspicious because it is also a Jyotirlinga Kshetram and Shakti Pitha, and very, very ancient Kshetra which has been described in Puranas. In also, there are references to the Pandavas having established Shivalingas there, and which has been worshipped by many acharyas, including our Shankaracharya, who has composed this Shivanandalahari Adbhuta Stotram in that Kshetra. It is said that every living being there, every tree is a devata and a manifestation of Parameshwara. So that Sri Shaila itself is Shiva. So it is such a Punya Kshetra. And there the deity in Sri Shaila is called Sri Mallikarjuna Mahalinga. So Parameshwara is the form of a Shiva Linga called Sri Mallikarjuna. And the consort, the Devi, Parvati there is in the form of Brahmarambika. So we find references to both the names in this particular verse. Now, the word Mallikarjuna, how did it get the name? We will just refer to very few instances here. You could read up on the Kshetra Mahima of Sri Shailam. Please do so. Even on the Sri Shailam website, they have referred to verses from Puranas and given the various reasons why Bhagavan is called Mallikarjuna there. Now, Mallika refers to the jasmine, as we know. Arjuna refers to the Arjuna tree. Now, here, Bhagavan, that linga emerged out of the Arjuna tree, which was woven by the jasmine plant. So the Arjuna tree, and around that you had the jasmine plant, which had woven itself around the Arjuna tree with white, beautiful jasmine flowers. And in that emerged the Mahalingam, which is what is worshipped today in Sri Shailam. Therefore, the name Mallikarjuna. Also, Arjuna refers to fair, white, radiating brilliance. Now, Parameshwara is always described as being fair complexion, radiating brilliance. So, also Mallikarjuna. And there is also a reference, there are many such references on the significance of the name. Please do go and read up on this. And also, devotee is supposed to have done performed penance for many, many years, and she made a garland out of jasmine flowers, which was placed on the head, around the ears and the head of Parameshwara in this kshetra. So that therefore also he got the name Mallikarjuna. Now Mallika, jasmine, Arjuna also is white, and it also refers to the Arjuna tree. Now let us see the meaning in this verse also, like in the other verses we are seeing, refers to both Mallikarjuna as the Mahalingam, Ishvara and Bhramarambika. You can also take each word to mean the Arjuna tree surrounded by the jasmine, and Bhramara referring to the bees which come to seek nectar in those jasmine flowers. So very beautiful, very significant, very important verse. Shiva Lingitam Sandhyarambha Vijrambitam Shruti Shirasthanantaradhishpitam Saprema Bhramarabhiramamasakrita Sadvasana Shobhitam Bhogindra Samasta Sumanaf Pujyam Gunavishkritam Shrigiri Mallikarjuna Mahalingam Seve. I worship, I serve Shrigiri Mallikarjuna Mahalinga. That is the Mahalinga in Shri Kshetra or Shrigiri, Shri Parvata, Shri Shaila. Seve. How is this Mallikarjuna Mahalinga? Shiva Lingitam. Shiva is Parvati. It is embraced by Parvati, Shiva or Parvati. Further, Sandhyarambha Vijrumbhitam. Sandhya is evenings. We know that Pradosha Kala Puja is very important for Parameshwara. That is twilight. During twilight, the puja which is done. Therefore, Sandhyarambha Vijrumbhitam, who is vibrantly worshipped at the onset of twilight or Pradosha. Also, one of the very renowned and old commentators says, Nartana Prakatanena Bhaktanugrahakam Vijrumbhitam. Nartana Prakatanena, by referring to the Shiva Tandava. Bhaktanugrahakam, the one who is vibrant, shows his vibrant form in the form of Shiva Tandava, and in that way he protects his devotees in the Sandhya Kala. Vijrumbhitam. Sandhyarambha Vijrumbhitam. Further, how is this? Shruti Shira Sthanantaradhishpitam. Very beautiful play on words. Shruti refers to Vedas. Shruti Shiraha, the crown of the Vedas are Upanishads, the Vedanta, which give us the Jnana aspect. Shruti Shira Sthanantaradhishpitam. So Parameshwara is established in the Upanishads. Shruti Shiraha, the one who is realized through the Upanishads, which are the crowning glory, the Shiraha, the essence of the Vedas. This is one meaning. Another meaning is Shruti refers to the ear and Shiraha refers to the head. So Shruti Shirasthanantaradhishpitam refers to the jasmine flowers covering the head and the ears of Parameshwara. So we, like I said, there is one episode, if you read up, where a devotee made this garland of jasmine flowers, which Ishvara placed around his head and ears. And that's also one of the reasons, and he got the name Mallikarjuna, and one of the Kshetra Mahimas there in Sri Shaila. So one meaning, Shruti Shiraha Upanishads. Shruti Vedas, Shiraha head Upanishads. Another meaning, Shruti Shiraha, the ear and the head of Parameshwara, which is surrounded by the Mallika flowers. Saprema Bhramarabhiramam. Saprema, along with a lot of love. Bhramarabhiramam. Asakrit, who is always who with Brahmarambika, with the loving Brahmarambika. Asakrit, always, not once, always, who is surrounded by or who is with Brahmarambika Devi. Another meaning, Brahmara refers to the bees in Sanskrit. Brahmara means bee. So when you have beautiful fragrant flowers filled with nectar, it is natural that there are bees there seeking that honey, right? The nectar. So that refers to the bees surrounding the jasmine creeper. Sadvasana Shobhitam. So here, Sadvasana Shobhitam again refers to surrounded by yogis and who is always sought by those with Sadvasanas. And with reference to creeper, it means Shobhitam is beautified. Sadvasana by the fragrance of the beautiful jasmine flower. Bhogindra Bharanam. Bhogindra, it refers to the serpent, Adishesha. Bhogi Indra, the head, the king of serpents, Adishesha, who is the ornament to Parameshwara. Parameshwara wears Adishesha, the serpent around his neck. So that is the ornament. Another meaning, as we know, when there are trees, we see serpents sometimes which have encircled these trees, which are like ornaments. So we refer to the Arjuna tree. So here, Bhogindra Bharanam. Then Samasta Sumana Pujyam, a beautiful play on words. Sumanaha. So here, Devas, the one who is worshipped by all gods. The word Sumanaha also refers to scholars. So the one who is worshipped by all gods and scholars. And it also refers to flowers. So the one who is worshipped by all flowers. So we can take the word Sumanaha to mean scholars, devas, and flowers. Who is worshipped by scholars and devas. Guna Vishkritam. So this again here, Guna refers to, with reference to Parameshwara, it means the Kalyana Gunas, who is endowed with all the Kalyana Gunas, Mahima, Daya, etc. Another meaning, when how do we hold the jasmine flowers together? We learnt in one of the previous verses, Guna also refers to a thread or a rope. So that thread which holds the jasmine flowers together, Guna Vishkritam. Another meaning, who is known by the predominance of Sattva Guna. So each word we can decipher the meaning in multiple layers. Guna Vishkritam. Shrigiri Mallikarjuna Mahalingam, the great Mahalinga in the form of Mallikarjuna in Sri Shaila, Shrigiri. How is it? Shivalingitam, embraced by Shiva or Parvati. Seve, I worship. A very beautiful verse, very important. The heart of Shivanandalahari, light in the middle. He's giving us this evidence of composing this stotram in, this great kshetra called Sri Shaila. And multiple references to why he is called Mallikarjuna in Sri Shaila Punya Kshetra. Like I said, there are many Sanskritam verses in Puranas giving us the Kshetra Mahima of Sri Shailam, which is both a Shakti Pitha and a Jyotirlinga Punya Kshetram. Please do read up on all these verses in the website of the temple itself. They have given references to these verses and given the importance of this name Mallikarjuna. So let us read that. We won't go through everything in the class. Now we will just quickly go through the meaning and chant the verse once and conclude today's class. I worship the great linga of Bhagavan Mallikarjuna at Sri Shailam, lovingly embraced by Parvati in the form of Brahmarambika. It is vibrantly worshipped during the onset of twilight and established in the teachings of the Upanishads. It radiates captivating beauty, always surrounded by noble yogis. It appears majestic, adorned with the serpent Adishesha as an ornament. Revered by scholars and celestial beings, it is resplendent with the qualities of Sattva Guna and Kalyana Gunas. This divine form of Shiva is the source of grace and sanctity. So, Shri Mallikarjuna Mahalingam Shivalingitam Seve. We will chant this verse once and conclude today's class. Thank you all for bearing with me and for staying. Almost all of you have stayed, though we exceeded the class by almost 20 minutes. I wanted to complete 50 in this class so that we revise in the next class. Okay, so let us chant this beautiful verse. सन्ध्यारम्भविजृम्भितं श्रुतिशिरस्थानान्तराधिष्ठितं सप्रेम भ्रमराभिराममसकृत् सद्वासनाशोभितं भोगीन्द्राभरणं समस्तसुमनः पूज्यं गुणाविष्कृतम् सेवे श्रीगिरिमल्लिकार्जुन महालिङ्गं शिवालिङ्गितम्. Okay, with this we have completed 50 verses, a very significant class today. Thank you once again for bearing with me and for staying, though we exceeded the time. I will quickly see if we have any questions. Usha Anant ji, yes, so we are pausing at Yati. If we don't pause at Yati, that would be Upadhmaniya, the second pada of Shloka 47. And same answer to Basavaraju ji also. Uchchai manasakaya manapatalim akramya. Because we are pausing at the Yati, we split it. If you don't want to pause, then you should take a breath there. You can chant it continuously as Uchchai manasakaya manapatalim akramya. Then Saumya Bhagini, you joined the classes last week. Okay, I will type the answer out to you. You're asking for the email ID. You could, if I don't reply immediately, please send me a reminder email because we get many emails and sometimes I might miss replying. So please don't hesitate to send me a reminder email. Sadvasana Shobhitam. Meena Bhagini, yes, Sadvasana. There is a Dvitvam. D is doubling. Sadvasana Shobhitam. Then Madhumati ji, you have a recording of the meanings of the verses. I mean, are you? Yes, it is available, Madhumati ji, on YouTube. It is available. The recording, every class is uploaded on YouTube. Please go through the. I mean, you can just search. And you will get it on YouTube, Vyoma Shivanandalahari. If you search, you will get these classes along with the meaning. Also, Purnima Prasad Bhagini has previously offered only meaning in English. So that also I would urge you all to listen. That is only meaning, not teaching chanting, but as pre-recorded audios. She has done a very great job. So please also refer to that. I also refer to those. So please do that also. Audio clips are also available in the website on your portal, Sanskrit from Home. Audio is also uploaded. Sundar Rajan Mahodaya, yes, serpent Adi Shesha, that is the reference here. Bhogindra means king of serpents. Thank you, Usha Ayerji, for very kind words. Madhubalaji, thank you. Verse 47, Revati Bhagini, like I said, we had to make that edit, Sadvasanaha. Therefore, today verse 47 will be uploaded along with the meaning which we did in detail in the previous class. Okay, so now thank you so much to all. And it has been a milestone. We have completed 50 verses with the sheer grace of Mallikarjuna and Bhramarambika. So let us hope that we all can offer this Samarpanam as a seva sometime in Sri Shailam with Bhagavan's grace. So let us conclude with Shanti Mantraha. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Dhanyavadaha sarvebhyah. Agami Shanivasare punarmilamaha. So let us chant these verses, practice. We will have a revision next week. Ram 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 punarmilamaha.